Good morning. We will pay attention to transactions with creditors and debtors today, and we will pay attention to the documents that's used and the subsidiary journals that are used. The source documents are used to record the credit transactions. The first transaction is credit transactions when we purchase goods or we sell goods on credit. When we purchase goods, we buy it from our creditors. When we sell goods, we sell it to our debtors. For the purchases, we will receive the original invoice from the creditor, and then we will record this entry in the creditor's journal. When we sell goods, we will issue the original invoice, and we will use the duplicate to record the entry in the debtor's journal. The second journal is the creditor's allowances for transactions when we want to reduce the amount that we owe the creditors or the debtors owe us. So if it is a return of goods to the creditor, a debit note will be issued by your business that will go with the goods to the supplier that you return the goods to. The supplier then gives consent by giving a credit note. So we will receive a credit note. So this is very important. When we buy on credit, we receive an invoice. So we receive an invoice. If we return goods to the creditor, we will receive a credit note from the creditor. So invoices received, credit notes received has something to do with our creditors. If we look at the debtors, we issue an invoice, and if we want to reduce a debtor's account, they will return goods to us with a debit note. If we are satisfied taking the goods back or to reduce the account, we will issue a credit note. So it means if we look at both these transactions again, with debtors, we issue an invoice. And with debtors' allowances, we issue a credit note. So what is the difference between the creditors and the debtors? When we buy goods, we receive an invoice. When we sell goods, we issue an invoice. When we want to reduce the creditor, we receive a credit note. If we want to reduce the debtor, we issue a credit note. So the word issued or received is very important to determine whether the transaction is in connection with creditors or debtors. The next entry that we will do is payments to creditors. We will pay them with a check, so we will use this check counterfoil to record the entries in the cash payments journal. Receipts from debtors, we will give them a receipt as proof of payment, and we will record this entry in the cash receipts journal. A dishonored check, if we give a check to a creditor and the check is returned by the bank because we don't have enough money in the bank, this dishonored check must be cancelled in the cash receipts journal because the original check was recorded in the cash payments journal. So if we want to cancel it, it must be cancelled in the cash receipts journal. And we will use the bank statement or this dishonored check as a source document to record this entry. If we have a dishonored check that we received from a debtor, and this check is returned by the bank, dishonored because the debtor don't have money, we have to cancel this in the cash payments journal. Because when we received the check, we recorded it in the cash receipts journal. So if we want to cancel it, we must cancel it in the cash payments journal. The bank statement or the dishonored check will be used as source documents. Then we have additional entries that don't fit into one of these journals that we've already discussed. So we have a sales journal and debtors journal, sales returns, debtors allowances journal. We have a creditors journal, creditors allowances journal, cash receipts journal, cash payments journal. That's our 6 basic journals that we use. Any entry that doesn't fit into one of these 6 journals will be recorded in the general journal. So entries that we can record in the general journal is, for instance, interest that is charged on the account, cancellation of discount on a dishonored check, correction of error, transfer from the creditors to the debtors ledger. All these entries, whether it's in connection with debtors or creditors, will be recorded in the general journal, and your journal narration or journal voucher will be the source document that you will use.